to North Texas Jeep Renegades. Today we're out in Flagstaff, Arizona at Overland Expo West. We came across Miss Haley here and her beautiful red Trailhawk Renegade and wanted to talk to her a little bit. She has had this, how long have you had your Renegade?
I bought it brand new at the end of 2017. It's a 2017, like you said, Trailhawk 2.4 liter engine.
Nice, and it's been crazily modified. It looks like you've done just about everything at it here.
It's been a labor of love. The only thing I don't have on it is I don't have any sort of lifts, just Eibach performance springs on it.
That's one of the best ways to go. You don't have to worry about all the sway bar and leads.
Exactly.
All that nightmare that we've had with these. So, can you tell me a little bit about it? Everything you've done to it?
Well, to start off, I didn't buy it to off-road. I don't think anybody that buys these really buys them to off-road. But I ended up selling the F-150 I had beforehand and found some groups online, and I realized that you can off-road with this. So I started doing a lot of research and finding out like what parts companies are out there, and as I'm sure you both are aware, there are not many. There are like the big three. So I did a lot of research. I followed a lot of people on Instagram and kind of like got a good idea of what was out there and what people were running and what worked for them performance wise, because I don't like to put things on my vehicle that don't serve a purpose for one thing or another. So I started with the Lightbar up there. That was like the first big thing that I ever did myself. And then I jumped right into installing the Avid bumper here. It's an okay bumper. It's all we've got on the market right now until Valkyrie launches theirs. So
I'm looking forward
but
to
it. I think everybody's looking forward to it. It's a beefy bumper. It holds the winch like I like it to. Performance-wise, it's not the best, as I'm sure most people are familiar when they message me asking about it. I'm like, look, it's a great bumper, it looks great, but you're gonna have performance issues, so these are the things you're gonna have to modify on it to make it work for you.
Create some cooling holes, which most of us have done. And
Yes, I can say after having driven it up here in 100-degree weather, loaded down with the rooftop tent and all the gear in it, that if you have the bumper, you need to drill the holes in it because the performance shoots way up once you do that.
I'm sure I'm going to get asked this question much, but what size tires are you running with just Eibach springs?
I only went up one size, so I'm running 225, 65, 17s. I didn't want to do any cutting. I didn't want to do the pinch seam, and I did not want to lose any more MPGs than I already lose with the tires I have on.
It's a great choice.
And I was originally, I have all terrains on it now, but I originally put mud terrains on it first and wore those down. And for off-roading, they're a great aggressive tire, but they are so loud and they shake the entire vehicle when you're driving. So I guess it's personal preference. I didn't like it. I am running Toyos right now, and I absolutely love their tire. So I've been super happy with their product.
I actually have a quick question about your ditch light brackets. Yeah. It looks like you didn't go with the Valkyrie or the ATs. I've seen similar ones to these for 4Runners. Is that what these are? Or?
Nope, these are your cheap $20 Nilight Amazon special.
Nice. Well, they seem to work fantastic.
I mean, I wanted easy. I wanted something that was going to go on, that I could figure out, that anybody can figure out. And most importantly, like my entire rig has been done on a budget. I think the rooftop tent is probably one of the only things. Rooftop tent and the springs that are on it are the only things that I bought full price that was over 50 bucks. So the Nilights work for what I want them to do. They actually have amber laminates over the lens, because they originally are clear when you buy them. But I was looking for something that was going to cut through dust and any other anything else.
Works
so
amazingly for that, especially
you know what?
fog and
yes,
everything else.
Yes.
I noticed you had the Rocky Road rock sliders on here.
Yes.
How do you like those? And
the install is probably not my favorite thing. It was challenging to drill through the subframe to add supports in. It was definitely a team effort between me and some members of the SoCal Renegade team on one of our mod days that we do. And it was a group effort, getting it up there, drilling the holes, making sure everything lined up. I actually ran with one rock slider for a really long time because I put it on myself, and I was like, absolutely not. I am not putting the second one on by myself. So for a long time, I had just the one.
That deep seam drilling through the bottom is a nightmare.
I don't know how, what's the other brand? I don't know how they do it.
The Daystars are
because that's all subframe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not.
That's what Alan put on his, and man, oh man.
Oh,
I
can't
feel
even
for
imagine.
him.
And like I said, I budget. I'm a budget shopper. I actually picked up the rock sliders and the Avid bumper for a deal on, I think it was Facebook Marketplace. I think I got them for $1,000 for the pair.
Can't beat that.
So can't really argue with
There's
that.
people
for
that'll
sure.
pay $1,000 just for the bumper right now.
I know. Well, if they can find the bumper, that's the catch.
That's what I'm saying. They'll pay that much just to take it off somebody else's.
Exactly.
Oh, which awning are you running?
I am running the ARB. I think it's the 4.5 foot one. I see a lot of people running the 6 foot length one, and I thought that I wanted that going in, but I found this one and I put it on and I was like, you know what? For the size of the Renegade, it is so well balanced, and it's just about the width of the tent, and everything just looks really, really clean when you fold it all up.
Really
so that's
organized.
really nice.
And then I don't want to get too much into your camp setup. I see you have a rock pile to power your camp stuff. Do you mind if we move around back? Because I think you have a drawer system in here, don't you?
I do not. I actually operate out of just cheap Husky bins.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yep, just cheap Husky bins.
This is one thing I do want to talk to you about, is that
Yes.
Gobi ladder.
Yes.
It looks fantastic on here.
I honestly, I've seen the other ones that are on the market, and while they do look like they're quality, I am not a huge fan of the side entry. It doesn't really serve the purpose that I need for a ladder, which is accessing struggle points on the tent with setup and takedown. It is a very durable ladder. You're more than welcome to get up on it if you want to try it out. I love it. I go up there just like climbing a tree, man. It holds it, and it's, for the price you pay, it is competitive with the other brands that are on the market, and I think it's a stellar product if you can handle the wait times. That's the catch. Right.
Now, I do want to take a quick moment while we're around back here. I see you have your Instagram handle. If you guys have time, go check out Haley's Instagram. It's at wayward.renegade, excuse me. She has tons of great photos on there of some of her travels. She is traveled all over the place. She does trail days all the time, and go check out, it's a really cool Instagram page. Now, tell us a little bit about your tent.
So the Smittybilt was my entry point into overlanding. It was probably the first thing that I ever bought myself, that I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. This is how I want to spend my time. I took my tax return one year, and before you could not find the rooftop tents, before they started becoming popular and trendy, I picked it up on Amazon.
Nice.
And honestly, after having gone to several vendors that sell, and obviously we're here at Overland Expo, and so you get to see firsthand some of the other vendors that are out there and what they offer as far as their product line. Honestly, Smittybilt, for the price point of their Gen 1, obviously is what this is, I think it's competitive. I think it's a good entry level tent for anybody that wants to get into it. The build on its quality, I've never had any issues with it. Material is quality. It's comparable to everything else that's on the market, I would say.
Now, I want to say this one is actually pretty light too, isn't it? It's about 140 or 130?
Yeah, it's about 140, 150 pounds, which I think is kind of like the industry standard for soft tops right now. Obviously, I think now with the popularity that rooftop tents and overlanding has gained, you probably have some ultralight models that are out there.
There are some super light ones out there now.
Yes.
Like, I want to say GFC came out with their ultralight, and it's like 85 pounds or some nonsensical number.
Yes.
But I did want to ask that because I know on the Renegades, our weight limit on the roof is about 150 pounds, so you're actually sticking right in there.
Correct.
Haley didn't put a heavy rack or anything like that on her Renegade.
Nope.
She actually just has a set of really high quality crossbars, and she was able to bolt her tent to that, which makes it so much easier, and you're not adding too much unnecessary weight up there just to hold your tent.
Correct. And it's important to note, because I know there's a lot of people that will go on Amazon and they will get the clamp style. The important thing when you're running this much weight on the top of your vehicle, especially when you're like your dynamic weight, you need to get the kinds that have the strap that wrap and lock around the factory rails, so that you have that security that your clamping system is not going to fail, because this is a heavy tent, there is a lot of wind drag, and anything can happen. I think they're knockoff Thule Aeroblades. So Thule Aeroblades is what I originally looked into, and I had found these online. I don't think they offer them anymore, unfortunately. But Thule Aeroblades, if you're considering putting a rooftop tent on your Renegade or on any sort of subcompact vehicle, get Thule Aeroblades or something that wraps around the bar for that added security of keeping your stuff on your vehicle.
So we actually have the hood popped on Haley's rig here, mainly for the fact that I want to show y'all how she wired up her switch panel. She has the Auxbeam.
Yes, Auxbeam's new 8 lead, I think is what it is. Yeah, 8 gang. And honestly, for the price point and what it offers, I have really loved it. I just installed this specifically for this trip. And for the most part, install is very easy. I am not an expert in electrical at all. It's probably the weakest point out of all of the skills I've learned working on my own Renegade. And it's pretty much, it's plug and play. It is very user friendly. It is very price point affordable for a lot of different people. But I wanted to show you guys how it's wired, because when I was wiring it, I had a bunch of questions. So this is the actual panel right here. And this is what it looks like. It's really easy. You just wire your lights into these different locations. You've got 8 locations for different lights. Super easy. You don't have to worry about any sort of extra wiring. It's just positive and negative plugged right in. And it has got this 60 amp like emergency breaker, which is super nice. And it just wires right to your battery. But probably the most complicated part for me on this install was the fuse tap, because you have to run the fuse tap for accessory power to power the remote that's inside the vehicle. And I actually ran my tap up here. It's kind of hard to see. I ran mine with the horn fuse because of the style of the fuse tap, the way that it fits, and how small the fuse box is on the Renegade. You are super limited on locations that you can put it. It's kind of like a wherever it fits is where it's gonna go. So I took the top off the fuse box and I ran it through the back with the rest of the electrical and plugged it right in with the horn fuse, and it works great.
So you've also upgraded your battery to an Optima.
Yes.
Which is great. There was not really much need to upgrade performance on these. You're not going to get much out of them.
No, but the reason I went upgraded to this battery was because I have a 12 volt fridge in the back, and I wanted to be able to plug my fridge in to the 12 volt in the back and not worry about it for a weekend.
I know exactly how you feel there. I know we've both upgraded our batteries in the girls as well.
Yep.
I noticed you put your control box for your winch actually under the hood here.
Yep.
Do you run into any issues with heat with it being so close to the headers?
I haven't. I've had the winch installed for over a year now, and I wondered the same thing if I was going to have any issues with it, and I have not. Perfect. And this is the best location that I have found to mount this. But I highly recommend, because of the style of this particular bumper, you have to leave it engaged always, because you cannot switch back from preschool to the other setting.
It is a pain. I know Alan is probably one of the only ones that have ever come up with a way to actually get back there to reach it.
Yes.
And with the way we cut the holes, we cut here, and we can put our hand in there and disengage it.
That would be the way to do it. For
so
sure.
The cooling hole served 2 purposes on that, and it was amazing. He did
access point and extra cooling.
Yep, he did.
That's the way to do it.
That was a smart move on his part.
Kill 2 birds with one stone, for sure.
But that pretty much wraps up everything with your rig that we've seen. Oh, so what got you in? It looks like you have a pretty much overlanding setup. What got you into that?
So I grew up. I'm originally from Alaska. I grew up camping, mudding. Like this is what we did. And unfortunately, I don't have Can-Am money. I mean, who has Can-Am money?
Right.
So this was the closest thing. It's about the size of a Can-Am.
You're not lying. You were not lying there.
Plus, it's street legal. So.
Has AC.
I liked the idea. Originally, I thought that I would build out a retro camper, like an Airstream or something. I would refurbish it. That's not in the cards right now. Living in California, it's hard to store those types of things, and this was the next best thing. I can still travel and see all the different places I want to go to. So this affords me freedom outside of California. So
I did notice on the back you have She Overlands.
Yes.
You're wearing a She Overland shirt.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that right before we go?
So She Overlands is an organization that me and my partner Amy, who drives this rig right here, this white Wrangler, she's a different kind of wild on Instagram. We came together and we noticed that there's not a lot of representation for female overlanders. There's not a lot of support. We really had to dig to build our vehicles and find out about these events and meet people and find groups on Instagram. And so it's a fairly new organization. Essentially what we are hoping that this will grow into is an organization that will provide information for women, whether it's through YouTube content, whether it's through actual in-person events where we get together and we teach you how to work on your vehicle, just simple things like changing your oil, like checking tire pressure, releasing tire pressure for trail runs. Eventually we'd like to bring in female experts to lead like off-roading clinics and stuff like that, just to try to get women more involved in this sport. And also try to create this platform where we can show these companies that are out here creating these aftermarket mods and all of this stuff that we know and love and enjoy and like to buy, that there is a market for it, and that we would like to see more things geared towards women, whether that's through commercials, whether that's through product, whether that's through classes, because it's really intimidating when you don't come from this background to try to get into this sport unless you have somebody to basically guide you through it. Yep. So we're trying to just be that beacon, that landing board where women can come in and they can feel comfortable with people that look like them, that are like them, have similar experiences, and then we can kind of like send them off into the overlanding world where they can start doing their own, feel independence. I guess the main focus is independence through overlanding.
That's great.
So
that is fantastic. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to go follow Haley on Instagram at wayward.renegade.